Africa is an absolutely massive continent, and within this continent are 54 independent countries comprising about 1.4 billion people. This would be led in population by the relatively small country of Nigeria with 220 million people, about the same as Nigeria's 15 nearest neighbors. So why do so many people live in Nigeria, despite sharing a similar geography to many other African countries? Welcome to Geography by Geoff. Today we're off to explore the population of Nigeria, and more specifically, why it has about as many people as its 15 nearest neighbors. And while there are constant questions around the accuracy of Nigeria's population estimates, it's still the largest country on the continent by a wide margin. And as usual, there are geographic reasons for this. But first, today's podcast episode is all about air travel. The airline industry has enabled travel and transportation like nothing else in the history of humanity, and as such, has a fascinating geographic story. You can listen to that episode right now, right here on YouTube, or on whatever app you use to listen to podcasts. All links are in the description below. Africa has a complex history to say the very least, and this single video will not do the continent justice. But there are some things that we want to hit as we tackle the West African and Central African regions. Specifically, the area we're talking about today is comprised of the countries of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Niger, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Nigeria. Each of these individual countries have deep and intricate histories unto themselves, but we're lumping them together in this video to look at the fascinating and contrasting population geography. Broadly, the history of this region can be traced back to a few ancient civilizations, with the Nok culture in present-day Nigeria being among the earliest known. Flourishing from around 1500 BCE for about 1,500 years, the Nok are renowned for their terracotta sculptures, suggesting a society with complex social structures and trade networks. In West Africa, the Ghana Empire, not to be confused with modern Ghana, emerged by the 7th century Common Era in what is now southeastern Mauritania and western Mali. It was known for its wealth in gold, which was traded across the Sahara with North Africa. Following the decline of the Ghana Empire, several powerful states and kingdoms rose in prominence, each influencing the region's history profoundly. Notable amongst these were the Mali Empire, which reached its zenith under Mansa Musa in the 1300s, centered in Gao and Timbuktu, which became a leading center of Islamic scholarship and trade until its fall in the late 1500s. In the forests of modern-day Nigeria and surrounding areas, the Kingdom of Benin, not to be confused with the modern country of Benin, was known for its sophisticated art and complex political organization from the year 1180 to 1897, when it was annexed by the British Empire. The coastal regions, including the Bight of Benin and the Bight of Biafra, saw the rise of states like the Akan kingdoms in modern Ghana, famous for their elaborate gold artifacts, and the Kingdom of Dahomey in present-day Benin, known for its military organization and involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. The slave trade profoundly impacted the region, with millions of Africans forcibly taken to the Americas, leading to significant demographic, economic, and social changes. The colonial period began in earnest in the late 1800s as European powers scrambled for control of Africa. The Berlin Conference of 1884 and 1885 formalized the partition of Africa, with France, Britain, Germany, and Portugal carving out vast territories. France dominated much of West Africa, including modern-day Mali, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Senegal, and Niger, while Britain controlled Nigeria and Ghana, amongst others. Cameroon was colonized by Germany before being divided between France and Britain after World War I, and Portugal established a presence in Guinea-Bissau. Interestingly, Liberia was established as a colony of the United States, but more so as an area where the country could send its freed people of color. Liberia would formally claim independence in 1867. The rest of the countries, however, would endure European colonialism for a bit longer. By the mid-1900s, the struggle for independence swelled through the region, with Ghana becoming the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence in 1957. This sparked a wave of independence movements across the continent, with most of the countries in the region achieving sovereignty by the early 1960s. Today, these countries are part of a diverse and eclectic region of Africa, all connected by a shared and continuous geography that stretches through them. But before we dive into the physical geography of this region, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button. More fun geography videos are just a single click away. Africa as a whole has an incredible physical geography that has basically every kind of natural ecosystem. The region we're talking about today, straddling the equator and extending into the northern and southern hemispheres, encompasses a variety of climatic zones and physical features, from lush rainforests to arid deserts, and from towering mountains to expansive river systems. The coastal countries along the Gulf of Guinea, including Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, and Nigeria, are known for their humid, tropical climates and dense rainforests, which are among the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet. These forests are home to a large variety of plant and animal species. The coastal areas also feature beautiful sandy beaches, lagoons, and mangrove swamps, providing critical habitats for marine and bird wildlife. Moving inland, the terrain transitions to the savannas and grasslands of countries like Burkina Faso, northern Ghana, and parts of northern Nigeria. This region is characterized by a mix of trees and grassland, supporting a diverse range of wildlife, including elephants, lions, and numerous bird species. The savanna zone serves as a transition between the rainforests in the south and the Sahara Desert in the north, offering ecosystems that support both sedentary and nomadic lifestyles. Further north, in countries like Niger and Chad, the geography is dominated by the Sahel region, a semi-arid landscape that stretches across Africa just south of the mighty Sahara. The Sahel is characterized by sparse vegetation and is prone to droughts, making agriculture challenging for most of the region's inhabitants. The Sahel gradually gives way to the Sahara Desert in the northernmost parts of these countries, featuring a stark and breathtaking landscape of sand dunes, rock formations, and oasis towns. Central Africa, encompassing countries like Cameroon, Central African Republic, and the Republic of Congo, is home to the Congo Basin, the second largest rainforest in the world after the Amazon. This vast forest is critical for global biodiversity and climate regulation, housing an immense variety of species, including gorillas, chimpanzees, and forest elephants. The region is also known for its rich network of rivers, most notably the Congo River, which is the second longest river in Africa and a vital source of water, food, and transportation for millions of people. The region's varied topography includes significant mountain ranges such as the Cameroon Line, one of Africa's largest and most active volcanoes. The highlands of Cameroon and the Fouta-Yallon Plateau in Guinea are significant sources of rivers, including the Niger, Senegal, and Gambia, which are lifelines for the region's economies, supporting agriculture, fishing, and hydroelectric power. Lake Chad, shared by Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Nigeria, is another key geographic feature, though it has significantly shrunk in recent decades due to climate change, overuse of water, and dam construction. This reduction has impacted the lives of millions who rely on the lake for fishing, irrigation, and pasture. Suffice it to say, the entire region within this video has an incredible and varied geography. So why is such a large part of the population centered around the relatively small country of Nigeria? Nigeria, despite its relatively smaller geographic size compared to the combined expanse of the other 15 countries listed, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Niger, Sierra Leone, and Togo, boasts a population that rivals their collective count. This demographic phenomenon can be attributed to a confluence of historic, socioeconomic, and geographic factors that have uniquely positioned Nigeria as one of the most populous countries in the world. Historically, Nigeria has been a cradle of civilization and human settlement for thousands of years. The region's fertile land and favorable climate, particularly in the southern and central regions, supported the growth of agricultural societies and the early development of urban centers. The kingdoms and empires that flourished in what is now Nigeria, such as the Nok culture, the Kingdom of Ife, the Benin Empire, and the Sokoto Caliphate, were centers of trade, learning, and culture, attracting people from the surrounding areas and beyond for thousands of years. And all of these cultures thrived in the region specifically because of the unique geography attached to it. Due to a unique climate system that produces an abundance of rain, Nigeria has access to more rivers with an abundance of fresh water than most other African countries. This means Nigeria and its historic cultures have always been able to produce vast quantities of food in ways that other countries could not. Aside from fresh water, Nigeria also has an abundance of natural resources, most notably oil and natural gas, which fueled economic growth and urbanization, particularly during the 1970s. The oil boom attracted millions to the cities in search of employment and better living conditions, contributing to rapid urbanization and demographic concentration in urban areas. Cultural factors are also at play in Nigeria's population growth. The country is home to over 250 ethnic groups, each with their own customs and traditions. And among many communities, there is a cultural preference for large families, seen as a source of labor, wealth, and social security. Nigeria's fertility rate is amongst the highest in the world at over 5 children for every 1 woman. And while some other countries on this list have a higher fertility rate than Nigeria, when combined with Nigeria's already large population, the country has grown much faster than every other country in Africa. In contrast, many of the other countries featured in this video do not have the same unique combination of historic empires, fresh water, natural resources, and early urbanization as Nigeria. This has created a disparity where the single country of Nigeria has about the same population as the next 15 countries combined. Today, Nigeria's population would be led by the overwhelmingly dominant city of Lagos with about 15.8 million people. This would be followed by Kano with 4.7 million people, Ibadan with 4.2 million, Abuja with 3.3 million, Port Harcourt with 2.8 million, Kaduna with 2.2 million, and Benin City with 2 million people. In contrast, the other 15 countries combined have fewer large cities. They would be led by Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire with 4.6 million people, Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso with 3.7 million, Yaoundé and Douala in Cameroon with 3.4 million people each, and Brazzaville in the Republic of Congo with 2.1 million people. Accra in Ghana is a small city with only about 250,000 people, but has an estimated metro area population of about 6 million people. And this population discrepancy, combined with natural resources and urbanization, has led to the constant question: is Nigeria on the cusp of becoming Africa's first superpower country? Nigeria's population, already the largest on the African continent, is projected to continue its rapid growth trajectory in the coming decades, with current estimates placing the population at about 220 million people today. Projections by the United Nations suggest Nigeria could surpass the 400 million mark by 2050, positioning it as one of the most populous countries globally. This burgeoning population, coupled with a growing economy and strategic geopolitical position, sets the stage for Nigeria to potentially emerge as Africa's first superpower country. The foundation for Nigeria's path towards becoming a continental superpower lies in its demographic dividend. A demographic dividend refers to the economic growth potential that can arise from shifts in a population's age structure, mainly when the working age population is larger than the non-working age share of the population. Nigeria's youthful population, with a significant portion under the age of 30, presents an opportunity for rapid economic development if coupled with the right policies in education, healthcare, and employment. In contrast, countries such as Japan and China, as well as many in Europe, feature an aging population with fewer young people able to grow the economy. And with this young population, education and skill development has become pivotal for harnessing the demographic dividend. Recognizing this, Nigeria has been investing in improving its education infrastructure, aiming to increase access to quality education at all levels. An educated and skilled workforce is essential for fostering innovation, driving technological advancements, and enhancing productivity across sectors, from agriculture and manufacturing to services and the digital economy. Geopolitically, Nigeria's influence in Africa and beyond is expanding. As a leading member of the Economic Community of West African States and the African Union, Nigeria plays a crucial role in regional stability, peacekeeping, and economic integration efforts. This prominence was on full display when Nigeria led the charge against a 2023 coup d'etat in Niger, resulting in economic sanctions and potential military conflict. Unfortunately for Nigeria, realizing the vision of becoming a superpower entails addressing several challenges. These include improving governance and political stability, tackling corruption, ensuring equitable distribution of resources, and investing in infrastructure development, particularly in its northern half. Moreover, addressing environmental concerns and adapting to climate change are critical for sustainable growth into the future. Nigeria is not a superpower today, but that doesn't mean it won't be someday. 30 years ago, it would have been hard to claim China was a superpower, but today, it has become a dominant force in global politics and economies. In 30 years, Nigeria could see a similar trajectory. Nigeria has a lot of people because it's been able to support the growth of cities, kingdoms, and empires throughout thousands of years of history. Other countries in this area? Not so much. And it's for this reason that Nigeria can expect to continue to grow and outpace its neighbors well into the future. Hey, you stuck around to the very end of today's video, which means you are one of my most dedicated viewers. And that means you might be interested in traveling with me at some point in the future. If you are, please take this travel survey so I can start planning a really fun trip for us. It only takes a couple minutes and could mean the trip of a lifetime for you. So fill out the survey via the link in the description right now. I hope you enjoyed learning all about Nigeria specifically and West and Central Africa broadly. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.